Hey, how's it going, all you lovely people at Door Shutter, coming back to you with episode 64 of All the Mods 9, and today we are getting into thermal evaporation plants, or thermal evaporation chambers, whatever you want to call them, from Mekanism, to get lithium. So I've taken all of the alchemistry fission reactors down, because basically it was going to be useless. We're going to outpower it with Mekanism, because of course we have to get more. And that is kind of what we have right here. So I've got a couple of them set up, a couple sets of them set up. And basically what happens is we take water into these thermal evaporation plants or chambers, and from there it gets heated into brine. Brine is then pulled out through this thermal evaporation valve into this thermal evaporation valve, which then gets heated again, becomes liquid lithium, and then liquid lithium is then set to, I think it's, yeah, deconcentrating into lithium, and then that lithium is then carried over into a ultimate chemical tank, which is then pushed in to the entangloporter here. And of course, that is very, very simple, but I wanted to show you how I'm building these. I'm kind of building them in a very specific way because it is kind of just a little bit weird. But first things first, you need to have a 4x4. Okay, so the interior of the multi-block will have the 2x2, and this can go up to 18 blocks. I honestly do not know the benefit of going up that high, but we're going to keep them short so we can build several of them. I think for the most part you can store more, and we can actually test this here real quick. So right now we can store 1 million millibuckets of water in here. Okay, so let's actually just tear down one of these solar panels on top of this one, and let's just expand this. So then we'll build the actual normal thing without it. Okay, so let's go up. So we're currently at, where's my tape measure? Right there. So we're at 3. Okay, so 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and I actually have a whole bunch of these blocks, by the way. Evaporation. I crafted way more than I'll ever need, but that's okay. So let's just keep building. So that is 16, 17, 18. Take out these 4 corners. Okay. And then we're going to place down the advanced solar generators, which I believe this 18th block has to be your final. And then, of course, it has to have the solar generator things there. So let's then grab a controller and a valve. So we'll grab a couple valves here. Oop. And this should be pretty cool. We'll grab a sink and we'll just throw that down. Mechanical pipe. Extract. So you can hold more water. But see how that temperature is like 500,000? This is only 1.6. 121 millibuckets a tick. Let's grab a, so this is a liquid, by the way, so we'd want to grab just a normal tank. Let's grab a jumbo tank here real quick. We'll empty this real fast by just doing some shenanigans. Okay. And then we will just do pull, push. So how much is this making? So this is making 187, 190. So it's pushing faster. So this is not even full temp, right? Honestly, I didn't know there was this big of a difference. So I may want to actually just say, forget it, and make these all max height. And I believe 18 is the max. I believe so. Yeah, because we're still going. We're still going on temp. And remember, the Aether is always daylight, so these will always run. Unless you kill the sun god. Put an asterisk, right? Unless you kill the sun god. Man, that is nuts. And that's not even talking about how much liquid lithium we get on a second machine. So let's cease production here. Because actually these are not where the valves are going to go. They're going to go on the opposite side. So the valves would be here and here. I guess that doesn't really matter, right? On that side. I put them towards the front on that one. Okay, we'll try and make this uniform. Okay. So, yeah, that's pretty nuts. So it looks like the max temp is 1.03. Well, I guess actually that's about the same temp as the other side, ain't it? Okay, I'm confused. Because it looks like the temp's the same, but this one was producing like almost 200 millibuckets per tick. You know what? Let's run it. Let's run two that are the exact same. So we're going to start from the base. We're going to just build this up. We're going to roll with it. We're going to see if there's a difference. We're going to do some experimentation in this episode. See if there's a reason to do it this big. Okay. So we'll need to grab solar panels, which these are the advanced solar generators, not solar panels, but they just go on each corner. And then with that, we're going to get the controller. And since this is the actual lithium production, let me actually go over here and make sure how we did this. So we just put this one at the front. So right here. Evaporation. There's my valves. So that. And then controller. Okay. So now what we'd want to do is just grab some ultimate mechanical pipes. And I probably want to get more of these crafted. Nope, not 129,000. Or 1,200, yeah, 1,290. I don't want that many. So push and pull. So now we're making liquid lithium. The temperature is going to rise. And the next bit would be to get the sink and more pipes. Okay. And of course, this one's not formed, by the way. That's why nothing will connect to it. I'm just going to place them like I need to anyway, just to make them symmetrical. So we're going to pull. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to grab the rotary condensators. So we got 4 of these bad boys. Okay, and then we're going to configure these to do top as input, front as output. Grab a configuration card, and just copy. Grab the mechanical pipe, because of course we're still dealing with a fluid. Perfect. And then now we just need to power this, which the way I powered this was one flux point in the center of each section. Let's see, do I have... I thought I had a flux point. I have 6 of them on me. There we go. So I put that there. Nope. Yeah, that's right. Because the machines are just here. Okay, and then we'll get rid of this. Run the pipes over here as well. Might as well. And then we also want to grab the mechanism upgrades to speed this all up. And then chemical tank. So right there. And this is placed here. There's one there. Entangled block. Quantum entangled porter. So we're going to set this away from the tanks here for a second. Make sure that we set the sides. So for this, I'd want to set this left and right, and then nothing else. And then here, input back, output front. And then pressurized tubes. Not set on wrench. Push in there. Okay. So, how much is this producing right now? So, we are producing 500 millibuckets a tick. So, half a bucket per tick. And it's still increasing. Okay. And then over here, we are producing 346 millibuckets a tick. So, there is a little bit of gap between these two. But over here, we're producing 136 buckets, while over here we're producing 140. So outright, building these towers, which I mean is not expensive in the slightest, because it requires steel ingots. And if you don't know, we've already got steel mystical agriculture plants. So these evaporation chamber pieces aren't that expensive. I think copper is the only thing that I don't have, like, excess amounts of. 3.1 million, scratch that. I have a lot of it. I don't have anything passively generating copper is what I mean by that. So I'm not afraid to build these all 18 high, but I really quick want to go and check and make sure 18 is the height limit. I think it is, but it may have changed, so be right back. Okay, so the wiki does say that 18 is the highest. So this is, of course, a height of 18. That's what it says here. One of the things that I did not know, and we're actually going to try this out on the, like, on camera here, is these resistive heaters. I think I said that right. Probably didn't, but that's okay. Apparently, you can use these to actually heat these things up more, but I don't know if it's worth it. So I'm actually going to make a couple of these. Let's just go for 4. And we'll see if we could actually produce more heat. Because if we can, cool. If we can't, oh well. That's just kind of testing stuff. But we do have these thermal conductors, thermodynamic conductors, that I may want to try and craft here real quick. I don't know if we'll ever use these ever again, but worst case scenario, I just never use them and they're always in our system. But I want to make a couple of them, a couple sets of them. So that way we're able to transfer heat into the thermal evaporation chamber. One of the other things is, I don't know if I can do more than 2 valves per thermal evaporation controller. So that's another thing. So we're just going to grab 32 of these, just because why not? So these work by just power. Okay. And it says that the max that can be used, and this is per Mekanism's wiki, by the way, is 2050. Okay, so that's an expensive amount, but I'm curious if we could use that. So let's set this one down. Okay, so we'll have to power them, but that'll be okay. So we've got these. So let's go back to our Mekanism area. And this is outside. Just over here. So can I do another valve? That's the first question. Let's just set this. Let's set this here. And here. Okay, so I can have a third valve. Fantastic. Okay, so now if I do we just want to try 1 for now? I've never used the thermodynamic conductor pipe things. Okay, so 1250. And we're going to grab a flux point, which we have on us. So anything above that, they said it would basically be useless. So is that helping? I mean, slightly. Can I attach more than one of these recessive heaters? So this just says to accelerate the production rate beyond simply placing advanced solar generators at the top, the player must import a source of heat into a valve. The most easily done by placing the resistive heater next to a valve, setting the energy consumption to 1250 FV per tick will provide the maximum boost with any higher consumption having no effect. So should I just rule this out? Here, hold on. Let me get a wrench. Should I just do this? Would this be better? And then we just put a flux point next to it. We do 1250. It's not what I meant to do. That was a mistake. So would that ramp it up much? It looks like it's actually ramping it up quite a bit. Okay, we're getting somewhere. We're learning things. So if I were to do this, heater, let's just look up heater. So if I were to do this on one of these smaller machines, would this even, I don't even think this would be worth it. So 1250, and then flux point. Because, I mean, with the amount of blocks that you're using for this, you could build a lot of these, but I don't know if it'd be worth it, really. And I hope these don't explode. The famous last words, right? Yeah, this is interesting. Because it looks like they're max. The max is 240 for these small ones. And we aren't to the max of these just yet. So we're producing over a bucket. It looks like we're going to produce probably a bucket and 80. So 1,080. Okay. Awesome. So right now we're producing 1,080. So over here we should produce 1,080. Which means that if we had several of these, we would never have to worry about lithium ever again. Okay. This is the part where we experiment, and sometimes we read wikis to figure out there's extra ways to make these even more effective. Which honestly, I didn't know. I didn't know you could attach these heaters. I've never used this like resistive heater with Mekanism. Never had to use it. I mean, I knew there was the temperature stuff. I just never knew it was this. So that's really cool. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to say, let's go for it. Let's build all of these to be 18 high, 4 solar panels per, and let's throw some resistive heaters on here, and we'll call that fantastic, right? We'll call that good. And I'm curious. So I know that we just got max heat. Will this drop heat once it actually... Okay, it does start dropping heat. That's one of my questions answered. So it doesn't retain it because it's always being piped in through here. So if we did something like this... Oop, not what I meant to do. Oh, the weird geometry of their blocks. Okay. So there's no way for this to keep up with the current heat in these machines, right? Maybe. I think with it now, but I mean, all you have to do is probably just double the amount of Fe that you're putting in, and it probably just increases the rate slower than what it did when we first saw it. Okay, so 1250 seems to work for both of these. So this should go up to 4 here in a second. And this one should go up to 8 here in a second. Okay, so it is keeping it. So we'll do 1 per, which will save us some power. But we've got 2.1 million lithium in here, which of course we'll take this somewhere and we'll get this converted to lithium dust. But honestly, this is probably going to be way overkill. But what we'll use lithium dust for besides the tritium, I believe is what we're looking at here. is we'll actually use lithium dust. So I don't actually need to convert lithium down to lithium dust yet, but we can actually use this for basic induction cells, or induction cells in general. And those induction cells will actually be able to store mass amounts of power in a multi-block. But of course, with AE, we really don't need lithium dust, I guess. We kind of just need lithium. So we should just be golden to just ignore lithium dust for now. But I've got some work ahead of me, so let me be right back, start working on some of this stuff, start tearing down some of these solar panels, because that is going to be one thing to kind of get rid of. And I guess really you wouldn't need these advanced solar generators to actually do this if you just use the recessive heaters, right? These things only produce 80 kFE, or store 80 kFE. I wonder what they do. This is a full one, ain't it? So 240 FE. So I think you could probably power with 5 solar generators. You could probably power one of these and then actually kind of ignore solar generators. But I think that might be counterintuitive. I'm going to try it, max them out. Alrighty, so this is completed. We have, what, 2, 4, 6, 8, 8 sets. So 16 of these systems in total. And this is full. So all 4 of these things should become full here sooner or later. And that is fantastic. So what we need to do now is we need to get this lithium converted into DT fuel, right? Or tritium, right? Our first step towards DT fuel, which requires solar neutron activators. So I think, how do I want to put these down? Because I don't have a platform for them. Let me grab some cyan. Actually, I guess I might have enough. Can expand to the edges here. Because, like, I needed a visible area, right? I mean, I could make a platform over there. That might not be the worst idea. Let me actually revert this. And I will make another platform over there, similar to this one. And then that way we'll be able to just kind of cruise through it with a clean platform and not have to worry about cramming things. Alright, so platform is built. Got some solar neutron activators. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to place these here. So 3 blocks away from the edge here. Okay, so there's 8 of them so far. I wasn't sure how many I needed, so I just grabbed 8. But if we need more, we'll grab more. Quantum entangler, set that to lithium, which is at the very bottom. And then I think, let me just repick this up and set it down, because I want the front facing me. So for gases, we're just going to do output, and then pressurized tube. We don't need any energy on these, which will be fantastic. No extra cabling needed. There we go. So we probably still have plenty of lithium. Yeah, look how much we're getting. Like, just, I think that's because we have a stockpile, right? We have a little bit of a stockpile with most of these. Well, actually, most of them are empty. So it's just kind of producing that much right now. Look, man, that is nuts. Okay, so we could do some more solar neutron activators, that is for sure. I might do those again off camera. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's do 8. But I'll let them craft here for a second. I said 8, then I did 4. Let me do 4 more. Okay, so that is tritium, right? We have tritium, and this is a gas. So what we're going to do is we're just going to grab some pressurized tubes, and we're going to grab a chemical tank. Remember, just having that buffer point of 8 million is fantastic in my opinion. And then we'll get the quantum entangler. Just grab quantum entangler, place this down. This is going to be tritium. How do I spell tritium? Tritium. So tritium, perfect. And then we're just going to do gases, input on the bottom, and then here, input in the back, output on top. Okay, so there's tritium. So the solar neutron activators, we'll just quickly place these down. And I think what I actually want to do is, instead of placing them down further, I'm going to place them right here. Just make it a little easier. Set these all to output. Making me want some Mountain Dew. Just kidding. That is kind of the bright green that this is giving off, though. Okay. So are we still doing good on lithium? We are. Of course, it probably would help if I had all of the lithium flowing through everything. Let me figure out a better spot for this here. Get a wrench. So what I want to do, I think, is actually... Can I input into the bottom of these? Let's let this stuff produce, and I'll be right back. Okay, so what I want to do is I've moved this back one. I made sure all the lithium and everything was out of the pipes. I'm actually going to kind of clean this up here a little bit, just because I didn't like how we placed some things. So we're going to do input here, chemical tank. So input back, output front. Just so that way we have it kind of straight line, nothing stacked on top of each other. And then here, we're going to do input in the back. Okay? And that is the wrong quantum entanglement order. That was lithium. I need tritium. So this, gases, input back. Perfect. Okay? So now we're going to go down. We're actually going to knock out the underside of these solar neutron activators to give them the lithium. So we're going to have a block here, and then we're just going to have two different tubes sending out lithium. Okay? So just like this. And I think this is the front. So output, output. And we'll just make sure... Oop, didn't mean to do that. Make sure that we're pulling. Things should be getting lithium. Okay. Same thing over here. So now we're pulling. Everything should be getting lithium. Fantastic. So let's cover this up. And that should be making tritium. A little bit better off than what I had it a second ago. Yeah, that is working. So we've got 5 million tritium. And of course, there's no upgrades or anything we can do to these. The only thing we can do is expand this further. I think we're completely out of lithium. But remember, these pipes hold quite a lot of lithium. Because, I mean, what? This one's holding 9 million. This one's holding 40. And it's decreasing rapidly. So we may not have enough lithium. But that's okay. Why are you not doing anything? Because this should be, like, producing rapidly. Oh, I didn't put upgrades in these. Hold on. Let me get that done. Okay, so with that fixed, now we're gaining a lot of lithium inside these pipes. Or inside these tubes. Which is fantastic. Exactly what we're wanting, right? We're wanting to be able to just have an excess amount of the lithium. And I'm kind of wondering how much I can expand this. I don't think it would really matter if I was to go overkill on this. How many could I do? I want to put this towards the edge, but not all the way. So 16, so I could do 32 solar neutron activators. And I'll get those placed real quick once they're done crafting. And we can see about our next little bit of shenanigans. I guess we could actually do that while they're crafting here real quick. So the next part we need to do is deuterium. Deuterium, I think is what it's called. So this is oxygen, and so you get deuterium and oxygen from heavy water. Heavy water is going to be not that hard. You need what is called an electric pump from Mekanism. Let me see if I can see it here. So this right here, with a filter upgrade from Mekanism. So these two things combined together will give you heavy rain, or heavy water. My apologies, heavy water. And then heavy water can then be separated. So here it is. Uh, we just need to get the filter, which I don't have 10 dust on auto crafting, so I'll have to go back to the base. And electric pumps, I'll get those auto crafting. But we'll just need to get an area where we can actually make a whole bunch of these pumps and get a whole bunch of the heavy water. And then we may have to figure out how to make sure it's not a bottleneck compared to the tritium, so we can kind of balance them out as close as we can. But for right now, I think we will be back in the next episode to get the rest of this figured out. We've got tritium, so we're halfway there, right? We're halfway to getting DT fuel, which means that we're getting close to getting into the fusion reactor, which will be our main source of power for the rest of the game. And then that will be fantastic. So thank you guys so much for watching. Stay awesome. And I can't wait to see you in the next one. Bye bye.